James Hafner.
And James, where are you from?
Chicago, Illinois.
Okay.
I'm a damn Yankee now. You're right.
And tell us how you got into the military.
Well, when I was, well, that's a long time ago. Back in 1940 something, I signed up in the reserve of some sort, and I didn't have to get called up until June of '43, after I finished my second year of college. I think it was third year, whatever it was. So then off I went to St. Louis to check in, and they took me over to Murray State Teachers College in Kentucky for our pre-flight school. So we were there for a couple of months, and then we went up to Iowa, University of Iowa, to the, what do they call that? Some kind of a school, and we learned some more. And then from there I went down to, gee, that's a long time ago. You think I can remember? I don't have the ticket still.
That's okay. So you went into the Navy.
Oh yeah, a Navy flyer.
You're a flyer. And tell us about, where did you do your training at?
Pensacola.
Okay.
Well, there's a couple places. The first one was in Memphis. Good old Memphis. Well, there was several places we went. Murray State Teachers College was the first place we went. Then we went to Iowa City. And then we went down to, God, it was so long ago. Anyway, I ended up down in Pensacola. Oh, Memphis. Learned to fly my first airplane ride, my second airplane ride was in Memphis. First airplane ride was in Iowa City.
And what was it like flying at a young age? And
oh, it was fascinating. I know my instructor he got a big chuckle out of me when we took off. This is over the beautiful countryside of Iowa. My first plane ride, it was in one of those little single engine, two people, you know, me and the pilot instructor. He was a nice guy. We take off, and I'm just, look at that! Whoa, whoa, whoa! He got a kick out of it. I'd never been up in the air before, at least not knowingly. outside climbing trees when we were kids. Now let's see, that was a nice ride in Iowa. That was nice. In fact, the one nice thing about it was that one of my guy I went to high school with was there with me, and he had been on the football team. That's why he went to Iowa, so he could play on the Iowa team. I didn't play. Anyway, from there we went to Memphis, I guess.
And what kind of plane were you flying when you were training?
Well, in Iowa it was a Stearman. No, it was Memphis. It was a Stearman. That was a biplane. Remember that was a good airplane, boy. He could do anything. And one guy we were flying with, we were learning how to do stalls, you know. And he did one all the way to the ground. Punk! He hit the ground. kind of ruined the airplane, but it didn't hurt him any. He was doing a maneuver. You go flip like this, you know. And he was fortunately was in the vertical, horizontal position and hit the ground. That was in Memphis. We had a lot of fun flying around Memphis. Flew halfway over the state, I guess. Then I went to Florida, Pensacola. All Navy pilots go to Pensacola eventually.
And what were you flying down there?
I ended up flying, let me see, what the hell was it?
Jesus.
Gosh sake, I'll have to go look at my flight log and see.
Well, that's okay. So after Pensacola, when did you, I guess, receive?
Well, I went to Jacksonville too. That's where I was flying PB-4Ys, PB-Ys,
Okay.
flying boat, and we flew out over the Gulf and back. Lots of flights over there. They were nice. You remember those, don't you? No, that's before your time. I don't think they got any left anywhere now. Then I got my commission, and was sent up to Kansas, where I ran into a high school buddy of mine who had just come back from a tour of duty in the Pacific with his friend Carl, the two of them. So they talked me into joining him to be a crew of 3 for a multi-engine bomber. So I had my first girlfriend with me, so we got married in Iowa, or Kansas rather, and headed out to California to join the squadron. And it was a 4-engine flying boat, not a boat, it was a Navy version of the Liberator, you know, the Army plane, and it was a little bigger, it was longer, it had radar jamming gear in it back in those days. And the crew decided I better be the navigator because Carl and Riney didn't know how to navigate for diddly-poo, so I got to decide where we're going. So I went from California up to Washington, Whidbey Island, and then went on up to Anchorage, Alaska, the whole squadron. And we got up to Anchorage. Next morning I got up. I was a junior officer, of course, so I had to get up and start the engines in the morning, you know. So then we flew out from there to Shimia, a little island just east of Attu, about 15 miles east of Attu. And on the way, there was 2 squadrons of us, and there was how many crews? Who's track of the numbers there? Anyway, there was we were passengers, really, our crew, our team. So I'm listening to the radio and I hear about this atom bomb, a bomb that dropped in Hiroshima. And I turned to the guys in the deck and I said, "Hey, that was an atom bomb." "Mr. Hafner, what are you talking about?" And I said, "Well, don't you remember in the Weekly Reader in high school, Al Einstein talked about the atom bomb?" Yeah, I guess I do remember that. Sure enough, that was it. So then flying along, and pretty soon we landed at Shimia, and the crew were putting the guns and the armor plate on the plane, but there were 2 Japanese spies still on the island from when the Japs invaded in '42. And they panicked when they saw me and Riney Marshall and 2 squadrons. So they radioed Hirohito. "Your Highness, bad news, Hafner and Marshall are here with 2 squadrons." "Huh, not Hafner and Marshall," said Hirohito. I quit. And the war ended that day. Isn't that nice?
Wow.
Oh, meanwhile, they dropped the second atom bomb on Nagasaki. That was enough for the whiz bang of Japan.
So did you continue to fly in the Navy after the war ended?
No.
No?
Oh, I not very much. I can't remember I ever did it all. I ended up getting my own little light plane up in Chicagoland. Flew around for a while.
So during World War II, you were just based in the United States.
Well, I was up the Aleutians and ended the war.
Got it.
That's where we were just about ready to attack Japan with our 2 big squadrons. Oh, we had demolished them. Didn't have to, though.
Did you have any close calls on any of your planes?
No.
No engine issues or no?
As long as I was on it, we flew well.
Any good memories of
I can't find them. Right, honey? I'm only 63. No, I'm 93. I forgot. Something like that.
So you're 93. And tell us what it's like for you to be a World War II veteran in today's generation. You get thanked a lot?
Oh, once in a while, but so many of the young people, they don't remember there was such a war as World War II, you know.
Did you have any correspondence with your parents when you were?
In service?
Yeah.
A little bit, yeah. Right. I didn't have to ask him for money. I was getting paid. Thank goodness. Being flight pilot was pretty good pay, boy. Ooh. What was it, $100 a month or something?
And what was your rank when you were discharged?
I was still an ensign, but I came home. See, the war ended that August after we ended the war, and we stayed over there in the Aleutians for another couple of months, and then back into Alaska for a short time. And then we came back to Seattle, and from there we came home. And that was the end of December. I got home just before Christmas, I think. And then a couple of weeks later, I reported to some official in Chicagoland, was decommissioned, so to speak, and now you're in retirement. I got short time later, I got promoted to JG. I was still in reserve, of course. I was always Navy Reserve, USNR. I think that's what they call it. It's been a long time ago, You go back, my God, that was in 45, 46, I got home. Then I went back to college at University of Illinois. Fortunately, the semester started in March. They had delayed it because of the end of the war and all that, so the timing was good.
What was it like being in college and after serving your country? I mean, what was the...
Well, didn't mean much to do. I'd been at college anyway before that. I went into service, and I was married down there, and we found a little apartment and a little house, and then moved out of that to another apartment. We were there. I was only down there a year. I finished up in a year. I got all my credits, and it was fun going back to college. A lot of my old buddies, my old fraternity brothers, and all were all home again, and back to back to the old UI. But I was married, so I didn't go to the fraternity at all. No, it didn't matter. I saw them anyway. Besides, I was busy studying, learning. Got my degree, and after. I think I finished that December or January of 47, came back up to Chicagoland, and I got a job at the Continental Illinois National Bank and Trust Company. Woo! What a title, huh? Yeah, it was a fun job.
How long have you lived here in Blount County?
We've been down here, we've lived here together 15 years plus a month or two. We moved down here,
and how do you like it in Blount County?
Oh, well, I commuted down here for 20 years to visit my stepdaughter, who was up north when a boy from Merville, I said it right, Merville, was up there too, and they met, and he brought her down here to show her how nice it is in Merville, so they got married 37 years ago.
Wow.
And came back down. He came back down here and brought Linda with him. So then, and her two little boys from her first husband. So I commuted down there for 20 years to see Linda. And so when I visited down here, I was a Yankee. That when I moved down here, that made me called a damn Yankee now because I stayed.
Well, we are proud to have you here in Blount County, and proud of your service during World War II.